A 9-year-old girl in West Alabama took her own life, and her mother says she was the victim of racist bullying. Mola Lengi reports.
9-year-old Mackenzie Adams was a 4th grader with a bright future.
That was my angel. You know, she was a straight-A student, very smart.
But her mother says Mackenzie struggled because she was bullied. First at a school in Linden where they lived, then at the school she transferred to, U.S. Jones Elementary in Demopolis. Her mother says she rode to school with a family friend who was white, and that a group of her classmates taunted her with racist comments.
Things you wouldn't think a 9-year-old should know. And before my baby to tell me some of the things that they had, said to her, I was just like, where are they learning this from?
Mackenzie's grandmother found her in their home last week. She had hanged herself.
Just seeing my baby laying there, not being able to say nothing to me.
The school district.
As many of our members already know, I've been homeschooling my children now for the past 10 years, and I have absolutely enjoyed it. I remember when I first started doing it, I was a little nervous because no one else in my family had ever done it before. And I honestly only started homeschooling my son because the school that we enrolled him in was not working with him at all. So I realized that if I did not intervene in the 1st grade, he would have never ended up graduating. So that's the reason why we decided to go ahead, take him out, homeschool him. And when I start having all of my other 2, they just continue to learn. They start learning very early. So I just went ahead and homeschooled them as well. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because we have decided to create a homeschool global network. And basically what this program will consist of is it's going to help you, if you're interested in homeschooling, to create your own homeschool. And now when I started doing this, I had no help, no assistance. I was basically on the internet looking around, and we had a homeschool store nearby, so I went and chatted with some of the mothers there. But other than that, there was no kind of help for me. I had to literally do all the research. I had to figure out what curriculums I wanted to use. I had to set my classroom up. I had to go through the state, make sure that I registered the school. It was just a big headache. So with everything that's going on right now with the shootings in school.
I was born only a year after Columbine.
One of the worst school shootings in our nation.
Every couple of months, every couple of weeks, throughout my entire life.
Virginia Tech.
Newtown.
29 dead.
26 who were killed, children.
We had seen it disappear. We had seen people forget.
It's not the time to talk about gun control.
Gun control is not the answer here.
If all our government and president can do is send thoughts and prayers, then it's time for victims to be the change that we need to see.
The students of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School are changing the narrative around school shootings.
Why should they listen to me? Because I had to sit in a classroom in the dark next to 20 of my friends watching us all text our parents that we love them because we didn't know if a shooter was going to come up to our door. That's why I'm credible.
With the suicide rate that's just going through the roof for teenagers.
A startling new report from the Centers for Disease Control. Researchers say teenage suicide is growing at an alarming rate. Since the year 2000, the suicide rate for teens is up 28%, with a startling average of 5 deaths a day. Jerika Duncan looks into what's behind the rising teen toll.
He was just an all-around great kid. He was an athlete.
Jennifer Gonzalez says her 17-year-old son, Jack Farrell, seemed fine last Thanksgiving.
And the next day I get woken up by the police knocking on my door saying I needed to come with them right away. I found out then that he shot himself in the head.
New CDC data shows suicide rates for boys like Farrell, age 15 to 19, increased more than 30%. 3 years ago, Conrad Roy died in this truck from carbon monoxide poisoning after his friend, Michelle Carter, encouraged him to commit suicide through dozens of text messages. In a highly publicized trial, we learned both teens suffered from mental illness. The CDC also says suicide rates for teenage girls are at a 40-year high. Experts cite family instability and substance abuse among some factors for suicide, but the role of cyberbullying is becoming more prevalent. In June, 12-year-old Mallory Grossman took her own life. Her mother, Diane, says it was because she was harassed in texts, on Snapchat, and Instagram.
In the beginning, it was teasing, it was name calling, it was exclusion was an important part. You can't sit here, you're not welcome at this table.
Professor Jean Twangy is a psychologist at San Diego State University.
Teens are much more likely now than they were just 5 years ago or 7 years ago to say that they're anxious and depressed and thinking about suicide.
With all of the picking and the bullying and the torment, I think that this is a wonderful time to begin to homeschool. Now, I know most people will say, well, why don't you just put them in private school? Well, my husband's cousin is an educator. And she told me, she said, look, if you take your child and put them in private school, where do you think all the bad kids go? When they get kicked out of public school, the parents don't want to teach them, so they put them in private school. So that's the reason why you have these young people like that young boy in South Carolina in a private institution who's threatening to bring guns to school and kill all the black students, okay? You don't want to go through that.
Well, no, it's a clear no.
School shootings have kind of just been a lot this year.
Perhaps I'm just telling myself I'm safe because I want to be.
We do have campus carry here. I do sometimes feel safer when I'm with my friends that I do know, like have concealed carry weapons with them.
I sit in school in fear because of the status quo.
Ever since I was a kid, really, that I can remember, I remember school shootings being a thing.
I haven't felt safe since Sandy Hook happened, and I was only in like 6th grade back then, and I just haven't really felt safe. I've always had some kind of anxiety going into school.
Maybe this is a real possibility. Like, this is something that could happen to me.
For our test, we used 2 weapons, a .22 caliber pistol and the larger 9mm.
We're gonna start with the .22.
First up, a car door.
Let's go take a look.
Jimmy Grimenos of the gun range Gun for Hire in New Jersey showed us the results. All 5 of the .22 caliber bullets went through the outer layer. 3 were stopped by the inner door frame.
You got ding here, ding right there.
As for the larger 9mm bullets,
you could see it actually penetrated both parts of the door. So you got 1 round here, 2 here, another round here.
Next, a door. Every bullet went right through. Same with a sheetrock wall. And a wooden table, very much like the one students at the high school in Parkland, Florida hid behind during last week's Valentine's Day massacre. Both caliber bullets penetrated the test table. And the sofa?
As you might expect, the dummy didn't do too well behind the couch. 1 there, 2. Another one there. There's 1, went right through the couch and into the neck.
When you homeschool, there are many benefits, many perks to it. The children can sleep later in the morning. Oftentimes when they're in regular school, they're up by 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Who can learn at 7 a.m.? Very few people. So they're groggy, they're irritable. That's what's causing all the disruptions in class. Then by the time they eat their lunch, they're winding down, they're tired. Many schools today don't even have nap time anymore. When I went to elementary school, we had nap time. They don't do that anymore. So there's just a lot of factors that go into the benefits of homeschooling. For anybody who's interested in doing it, this is a wonderful opportunity for you. We're gonna be there with you from start to finish. I'm actually willing to assist you with creating lesson plans, setting up courses. Now, at present day, there's so many online courses that we're able to offer you so that the children can actually learn on the internet. The courses will grade their work, give you the answers, give you the grades at the end, send us the grades, and it's a lot easier to do. Like I said, when I started, everything was old school. So we had to do everything by hand, paper, pencil, chalkboard. Now with modern day technology, it's a whole lot easier to do. And in addition to the core curriculum, we are offering an advanced level, our scholar level, where we will help you to set up your extracurricular activities, those extra courses, computer sciences, histories that you won't get in traditional schools. Because that's the other thing that I noticed. You know, when they were going to regular schools, everything was European based. So there was very little cultural diversity. So we want to make sure that every other culture was being taught within our program. So you will have that option as well. If you want to learn more about Chinese, if you want to learn more about African culture, Native American culture, we're going to incorporate all of that. We're going to also offer some herbalism courses. So your children will know how to go out into nature and look for medicinal plants. A lot of things that they're not going to get in regular school, we will have available for them. And like I said, it's not a traditional program. This is literally helping you from start to finish to set your homeschool up to give them the best possible experience they can get. We have self-esteem courses that we're implementing that all the children will have to go through, especially those that's transitioning from public school and private school into a homeschool setting. You would be surprised at how many children are dealing with self-esteem issues. It's crazy. So these are the types of things that we're going to address. They will have access to a group of other children their age so they can talk to and get information from and share ideas so they won't be alone. And also once a year we'll plan trips, a major trip for everybody to participate in, like maybe go to an amusement park or a theme park or do something so they can meet the other children face to face. So anyway, if you're interested in participating, definitely go.
Bye! Thanks for visiting!